Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to our normal webinar series. We do have something new today, and that is we are recording this webinar. We are not having the webinar live just because of logistical reasons. And so today we have Staples Promotional Products. They have been a Znode customer for many years and have really transformed their business on Znode and through a lot of hard work internally with other systems. And so today we're going to talk about digital transformation and simplification. And before we jump in, as always, we're going to do introductions. So why don't we start off? Kurt, do you want to jump in and introduce yourself, your role, and maybe give a little bit of background on your picture here?
Sure, thanks, Tom. Hi, it's Kurt Lintner-Lippisch. I'm a product owner with Staples Promotional Products. Been with the company more than 20 years, been in this role for quite a few. In the picture, I'm actually eating a fish cake I had just grilled in Japan on a recent vacation. Yeah, a new experience. They're really yummy. It really hit the spot. Kristen?
I am Kristen Mallard. I am a product owner with Staples Promotional Products as well. Been with the company 25 plus years, been in the role pushing 10, I think. Nothing special about my photo, so I will pass the baton.
All right. And I'm Tom Fleury, Chief Commercial Officer with Znode and our parent company, Amla Commerce. We went with lifestyle photos. So that was a picture of me in South Dakota. I think it was 2021 or 2022. It was during COVID, and we headed west and did some hiking and spent some time outdoors. So thanks again for being with us, everyone. And Kurt and Kristen, you've done an incredible job preparing for this webinar, and I'm actually going to sit back and let you take it from here.
All right,
Will
thanks,
do.
Tom.
All right.
So,
Oh,
Kristen, you want to go ahead?
yeah. So, Staples Promotional Products, for those of you who are not aware, we're one of the top promotional products companies in the industry, and we work with many Fortune ranked customers to provide their branded merchandise through websites. We do special order, um, limited time offerings, kitting, packaging. We also have a consumer facing site where individuals can go and buy promotional items and upload art or logos for small businesses, etc.
Cool. So before we transitioned to Znode, we had a lot of complexity, redundancy, inefficiency. We were actually talking transformation internally because we had grown to the point where we had 3 different platforms for different types of e-commerce transactions. We had our what we called eStore, which was that contract branded site, a specific menu for a specific client, pre-decorated mostly, and just waiting to be ordered. Staples.com or staplespromo.com, which Kristen kind of mentioned there. And that's where it's kind of a come one, come all, decorate your own. You can upload a logo. We even had built out our own configurator where you could see the virtual sample, see your logo put on there, or even do some editing. And then we also had this book and run product, which was these limited time offers, much smaller selection of products generally, try and book the orders in a couple of weeks, and then once we meet thresholds, go out, produce it, and then deliver. And these are 3 separate platforms, separate code bases, different managers. Orders came through different processes, and we just built those up over time, and it was getting just complicated, right? Too much to manage. If we wanted to add a new payment method, we'd have to figure out how to add it to all 3 products. Or if you wanted to add some new functionality like monogramming or something like that, we'd have to build it into all the different platforms, and that in the long run that was just not going to be sustainable.
Hey,
So we
Kurt,
started looking around digital transformation. Yeah.
can I jump in on that? So you have a lot of storefronts up here, 350 plus e-stores, 150 plus book and run stores. Going back to the business model, can you just talk a little bit about why so many storefronts in your business model?
Sure. And Kristen kind of talked to that a little bit. I mean, we were, or we still do, it's very specific branded sites for specific clients. So 3M, Goodyear, There's so many, I can't even like list them easily off the top of my head. But it's a very specific site. It's branded with their logo, their colorization, or however you want to term it, and then it has their specific menu of products. So we actually have our merchandisers engage with the client. They build out a specific menu. Depending on the client, it could be 30 products, it could be hundreds. And then those are developed out. What colors do they want? What logos are going to go on what size and what spots on those specific products? And a lot of times those products end up on the shelf sitting in a warehouse. They're pre-decorated in, batches that meet the minimums we need to meet, but then they can order and they can show up within a few days for the end user. That's our contract, pre-existing stores, and why we end up with 350 different e-stores. And then the book and runs are similar in that they are branded to specific clients. So
And specific client events, right?
Yes. They're very
So
much
it might be a customer's holiday offering, or it's their 25th company anniversary and they want all of their associates to be able to go out and get or choose from, one of 3 gift items or something of that nature. So they're really short term sites. They're maybe 2 weeks, 4 weeks at the outside max. We leave those sites up to collect the orders, and then we produce the product, or if it's on the shelf, we package and ship it.
Got it. Thank you. And another question for you. A lot of times when we talk with companies like Staples Promotional Products, or sometimes even with Staples, a lot of companies use the term programs. Are these where you're managing programs? Is that a term you use internally?
Yes. The e-stores, the 350 e-stores, we would commonly refer to as program sites.
Okay. Thank you.
Enterprise is a new term that we started using recently also. I don't know if that's standard across the industry anymore yet, but you might hear me say enterprise further down the line. So that's where we were. That's like before Znode. And so then we started having the conversation, these different platforms are getting a little long in the tooth. The configurator we had built out quite a few years ago is getting just behind the times, difficult to manage. We're looking at a significant upgrade needed for that. So the journey to Znode actually kind of came through the sister product of Artify, where we were looking at replacing the configuration engine and started talking to the Artify team. And in those conversations, Staples Promotional Products ourselves, we had more and more deeper conversations about, where are we going to go? How are we going to grow, or where do we want to be tomorrow as a company? And that whole digital transformation, again, this is back kind of 2017, that whole idea of digital transformation was taking hold. And so as the conversations evolved, we got, hey, we can unify, one platform, SPP1, we can massively reduce our technical debt, our footprint, gain some capabilities, SEO capabilities, which is stuff we really hadn't considered when we initially built out some of our platforms, just because that wasn't a thing then. And then also with that whole idea of digital transformation, this idea of master products, where we could have a product, a good old Gildan t-shirt, have it out there all broken up and digitally available or data available, and then add it to different programs without having to recreate the product each time. We could just pull it off the shelf, more or less, place the logo we wanted for the particular use for the particular e-store, and then push that data out. And so that's what as we had the conversations, that we saw as the way forward. And so the idea of moving to Znode as our e-commerce platform, where it had support for all that stuff, that was awesome. I mean, that was a bit of a big realization for us. And that's where today, now we're on Znode with the Artify integration. It's simplified, focused, faster to market.
I do want to call out also just the opportunity to unify our customer experience with those 3 different standalone platforms. They all inherently had different functionality available to them. And so consolidating on the Znode platform really allowed us a lot more flexibility and a consolidated customer experience in terms of the functionality that we could offer.
Yeah, that was huge. That was something that came up not infrequently in our discussions with our clients or customers.
So quick question
So-
for you. When you had to set up a t-shirt, you mentioned the Gildan t-shirt. Did you have to set it up 350 times if you're going to run it on 350 e-stores?
Yes, we configured that product individually, and we still do a level of configuration customized to the client, but we would actually have to run a physical sample and then send that off to be photographed. And
Yeah.
now we're able to leverage the sister product Artify. And we have a digital blank of that Gildan t-shirt, and we're able to apply the customer's logo in the location that they specify. And we're able to create a virtual sample. So it's way faster, number one. And number two, we don't have the expense of ordering a blank sample as well as the photography expenses.
Set up the product once, apply the specific product customization rules by store or by customer, rather than setting it up 350 times, including 350 unique assets.
Correct.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of a game changer for us.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, one platform, one manager. That too, I mean, in that whole idea of simplifying and not having different experiences of it, even internally having one manager for the one platform. Teams would have to, they would be managing a book and go, an e-store, enterprise, or program site, and they might have to jump back and forth in the way, you know, I go to manager, I have to do this to get this here, and you know, and then how do I manage the orders after the fact and different paths there. Whereas now there's one manager that they go to. It's a common experience even internally, which is a nice thing. Also, the account management and merchandising teams are finding that a nice thing for them too.
Yeah,
And
there was a
then
lot of specialized skills in working in those individual managers, and we've been able to streamline the flow of just a site setup and management because we don't have to have these individual pockets of skills
Yeah.
that are specific to the platform.
yeah, all that stuff was homegrown, so it was a little persnickety at times. And then the way we differentiate is we're able to use the theme, which is another a very powerful aspect of the Xeno platform. So again, same code base, all the core functionality is there, but then our enterprise, they have a theme that supports the enterprise type of functionality, which is say like logo selector. And we'll kind of touch on some of this in some of the store views we'll show. But then there's the enterprise experience is a little different than the book and go experience, which tends to be smaller, faster. And then the staplespromo.com and .ca, which is that kind of open-ended, upload your own logo kind of stuff. I mean, we're blending some of these things across, you know, upload your logo is also supported in enterprise, but the themes themselves are tailored a little more towards the shopper journey and the functionality we need to present for those different types of experiences. And then we're doing that on top of one platform. So we can add stuff, develop in once, and then use it across the different stores as needed. Any kind of questions about that or anything?
No, I think that makes sense. That makes
Okay,
sense.
yeah, so I've got a couple examples of some stores. We'll start with enterprise. There's an example of the Land O'Lakes landing page where we come in, and they're a great example. I mean, in and of themselves, they have all these different brands. So we say, oh, hey, we have 300 stores. But even this one store, Land O'Lakes, represents, in this case, 10 different brands. Well, 9 main ones, and then this other little cluster. But in and of themselves, they are managing a lot of brands themselves. And so we've added in functionality. We've been able to customize with this idea of shop by brand, where a user can shop across the whole store and shop any of the logos, or they can pick, say, like Land O'Lakes and drill in, and I'm just finding products that have Land O'Lakes on it. But typical e-commerce, enterprise type site or program type site, landing page, You've got your product. You can start drilling into the products with the shop merchandise or merchandise shop, or you can customize your interaction based on what logo you're pursuing. Again, a pretty typical kind of product detail page. Here we're showing the idea of the logo selector. So this product, it has about 50 different logo options available to it. So as a user, as a Land O'Lakes shopper, maybe I want Purina, the checkerboard, or maybe I want one of the other ones. I can make a selection, make my quantity choices, add to cart, and then now you're into the checkout stream. So
I do want to hop in really quickly, Kurt, if you don't mind.
Go
I
for it.
think having the virtual sample functionality, again, in our legacy platforms, being able to offer something like a logo selector was very challenging for us, because we did not have a great tool for virtual samples. So a customer could come in and they could pick a logo, but we weren't really necessarily showing them what their product was going to look like. So it's very powerful to have a customer be able to see what it is that they've selected on the product before they have the confidence to add to cart and complete their transaction.
No, that was a big win, 100%. Then here's the promo products, or SPP as we commonly call it, Staples Promotional Products, or staplespromo.com site, where this is more retail-y, a little more open-ended, but you can see some commonality. So homepage, which actually has a lot of more content of various type of offers and enticements. But then you're getting in on the product detail page, and we have this placeholder, your logo, which is indicating, hey, you can put a logo here. We have the different views, but then you have the capacity to upload your own logo, change the color, and we have details about which view and decoration methods. And then from there, okay, I'll upload my logo, make my selection on quantity. You can see the logo on the product again in real time, which is very cool. And then as you're shopping, you kind of build up this logo locker if you're uploading different logos while you're shopping along. And those actually do get, if you sign in and create an account, they get associated with your account, so you can reuse them later. And then, once you configured your product, now you're going off into the checkout stream. And then the third example here is these very simplified book and go sites. Again, we spin them up for specific clients. University, Cooper University Healthcare, they had an offer. They had one shirt, and probably this is a gift offer. They're rewarding some customers, or internally they want to get the shirt out to their staff, so they'll set up the site, put it on here, and then go in, add to cart, and again you can make size selections, typical, right? And then you're into the checkout stream.
And we have a lot of controls that we've built into this particular aspect of our business. Mm-hmm. If this t-shirt is a giveaway shirt, you don't want somebody coming in and buying 37 of them or a certain number. So we have the ability to control the number of items that have been added to cart. We have mins and maxes, and there's a little bit more management of the shopping experience, but less investment on, the marketing and the graphics, as you can tell, because it's really just a temporary store.
Yeah, they're very quick up and down, and just streamlined quite a bit. And then we've got some other stuff here where we're talking about some of the other uses, since we have this virtual sample engine, it plays into some other things we worked on too. Kristen, you wanna...
Yeah. So as we've kind of alluded to throughout, we really have leaned into the not only Znode platform, but into the sister platform Artify, and that we've talked about the virtual samples, and those are great for our client stores, obviously, but we've also been able to leverage that tooling in our internal customer quoting and the merchandising process. So what you see here is a virtual sample that was created on the fly as part of a merchandising activity, getting ready for a customer presentation where the customer would come and pick products out for an eventual SPB1 store. So like the Land O'Lakes site that we looked at a little bit ago. And so the great thing about this is our merchandising team can leverage our PIM data. They can configure the product, pick a decoration location, a decoration method, pick a logo. Then they're able to visually see it before they move forward with a client presentation, because maybe they picked something wrong, or there's something not quite right. We don't want to show this to the customer for whatever reason. And then, as we talked about, not having to have samples, like physical samples ordered, they can go into a customer presentation with a booklet of virtual samples available to the customer, and they can review the products, or they can even preview them before the customer meeting and highlight the things that they want to move forward with.
We get this question quite a bit when talking with Artify prospects and customers, the question of sales enablement and how to use the tool for sales enablement, not just for the customer experience, but the whole journey of onboarding a new customer.
Yeah, it's a very powerful tool. We have a separate line of business that's not web-based. We call it our special order business. And Kurt, if you move to the next slide. So this is a very similar tool, but it's really utilized by our special order team and our inside and external sales team, where a customer might contact us to get a quote on, in this case, the Yeti tumbler. We can configure that product based on what they've asked for. And very quickly, within a matter of a minute or two, have a price for them, present to them back a virtual sample, really making that decision process very easy for them. So, they might see this tumbler and say, oh, I didn't really know it was going to look like that. Can you change the logo to white? Yep, we can change that really quickly, get a revised virtual out to them. And we're able to take something that used to take days sometimes with the back and forth. We're able to execute that in minutes, really closing down that decision-making window.
And this, Kristen, this process is not unlike the bridge process, but with the configuring on the fly by the merchandiser, the special order person.
Yeah.
But then they're able to send a PDF or whatever over to the client electronically, so then the customer, then they can review and get feedback. So
yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, pretty slick process.
Do you know what that has done to shorten the sales process in general?
I don't have numbers on it, but I know that before we started utilizing this tool, our quotes took, like I said, sometimes days, 5 days sometimes, depending on the number of items in the quote. And really, you can quote a single item. If you kind of know what you're looking for, you can quote it in under a minute and get it out to the customer.
Wow.
So you can be live on the phone with a customer and just kind of, be talking through what it is that they're looking for, and within the confines of that phone call, have the quote back out to them.
Wow.
Yeah. Kind of a game
So yeah,
changer.
it's very like I have said this a lot of times, but it's very powerful for us. It's really driven a lot of enhancements, both for our customers and for our internal teams as well.
It's a great use case. It's a great business story, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Automation.
And this, go ahead, please.
Oh, I was gonna say automation, and Kurt, you started off with simplification, right?
Yeah. And that's where this goes back to that whole virtual sample. This virtual sample is the same virtual sample they'd use in Bridge, or we'd use to present on the e-stores, and the program stores. So it's, leveraging that over and over and over again. It's been a big deal.
Wow.
So that kind of wraps up what we've got, the story about how, we found Artify, found Znode, digital transformation, simplifying our footprint, one platform, simplifying, faster to market. So need some promo. I've got a couple URLs for our US shoppers or Canada shoppers, and there's a promo code there, 10% off on the US site, 15% off on the Canada site. So feel
Nice.
free.
All right, so we have I have a question on that. I have a couple questions. We're
Yes, sir.
recording this. Are these discount codes, how long are they going to last?
They're pretty much out there most of the time. So
Okay.
I can confirm, but yeah, they should last plenty long.
Awesome. And then from a brand standpoint, I don't know if we covered this. What is your relationship with Staples, the retailer?
They are our parent company. So we're a division of Staples, the office products company.
Right. Okay. Got it. Now, silly question. Do you have a Staples store where you offer promotional products and branded merchandise to Staples employees?
We do.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Great.
They
Well-
bought us in 2007, and so we took
Yeah.
on that store when they purchased us.
Great. Okay. Well, we always wrap up with a lightning round and talk about something personal. So we're going to circle all the way back to the headshots at the beginning. Kurt, it's vacation season. You just got back from Japan. What was the best part of the trip to Japan? What's the one memory you want to share on this webinar?
The one thing, we went to this museum. So it was a cruise up the East Coast, one of the stops. They took us to this museum, and there was these floats. These things are like 5 stories tall. And there's this big story about how they used to do these things. They built out of paper with these frameworks, and they're lit from the inside with candles. And then it kind of went out of fashion because the power lines got too low. They couldn't bring out these big floats, and in the city they kind of reworked it so they can bring these out now. And so they store these things in this massive museum. The floats are 5 stories tall. The whole front of the building opens up. So the 2 weeks a year they're celebrating the specific festival. They just bring them out the front of the building. But these things they're wonderful. They're insanely colorful. They're lit from within with electricity now, but they're massive. They look like some sort of crazy anime creation. It's just absolutely wild. That was kind of an eye opener.
Wow, that's awesome. Sounds like you.
Cool.
Kristen, vacation plans this summer? Anything planned?
I don't have anything quite as exciting as Japan planned, but I will probably throw my little dog in the car and head out to Colorado or somewhere west and spend some time in nature.
Nice. I highly recommend going out to South Dakota if you have a chance.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Talk about that after the webinar.
Yeah.
Well, we're heading to Canada. We're taking the family to Toronto, and then we're heading north to the Georgian Bay on Lake Huron for a couple days.
That'll be really nice.
Yeah, should be fun.
Awesome. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap up on that. Thank you both so much for sharing some of your personal stories, the journey that Staples has gone through on moving from homegrown systems onto Znode for e-commerce and Artify for product customization, and for all of your loyalty to our products and to the working relationship you have with Amla Commerce, our parent company. We're grateful for both of you and for Staples. In follow-up to this webinar, if there are any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, Tom Flerl, or reach out to your account manager, and we can always connect you with Kurt and Kristen or answer any questions you may have. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great day.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Thank you.